Island adaptations of Palangi clothing are also alive and well in Samoa, where local fashion wouldn't be the same without the national icon of the puletasi. This island version of the prim and proper English twin set also has many modern twists and turns. These pieces have a variation for every occasion and are a booming business for local designers.
I think I've modernized the puletasi by including the tapa and the ietonga and the afa. Instead of just using the plain cloth, I've used all the other natural resources. I just make it and post it out to them. But I want my money first.
Another feature of these pieces is the hand printing of the fabric, something that's become a specialty for Mena Design, a family company who've developed their signature island motifs to highlight their puletasi range.
All four of us do our own designs. We've all got very different ideas, and that reflects in our clothing, so it just gives our collection a variety. I like turning the traditional puletasi into something more sexy and sassy that you can wear out in the evening, and, just modernising the traditional puletasi.
The multifunctional puletasi is also the popular choice of uniform for most female dance groups, considered suitably modest attire. It's travelled far and wide across the Pacific, and for Samoan communities in New Zealand, it's again a favourite dance costume, along with the specific costuming of the taupou.
Well, traditionally, the taupou is the only one who wears a fine mat. As you see, this is a very, very old fine mat. It's very fine. It's been handed down from our great-great-grandparents, and if I sell this fine mat, it will cost me a lot of money. And for the tuinga, we're supposed to use shells, but we haven't got shells, so we use all the jewelry, and this is real hair, all right? And this is more feathers on the top.
Like the costume of the taupou, a distinctive performer on the Tongan stage is the vahenga, costumed differently to signify importance.
We call the very person in the middle, if it is the ma'ulu'ulu, we call it a vahenga. And normally it's taken up by a royalty. When it comes to school, it must be taken up by a prefect or a leader of some sort. So the central position is one significant.
Many Tongan costumes feature Victorian touches like the choker amongst traditional elements, which include distinctive headdresses to enhance dance movement.
You just say, when we do an action, we go like that, and so the judges can see, you go the right way. Yeah.
And then there are the many different kinds of hats.
When you go to a war, you're represented by your hat in the Tongan old days. So if you have no hat, you're just another one of the enemies. So dropping your hat really loses a lot of points. So when you drop your hat, you're counted as you're not part of the group.
Another distinctive contemporary feature of Tongan adornment, the gold tooth smile.
It's to beautify yourself and beautify Tongans, and it's like a Tongan way. That's how you do it. So anyone that's wearing it, so make you look like a princess sort of thing.
Sometimes it symbolises the gold back in the ancient days in Tonga. They used to find golds in the caves, and since they couldn't carry around their gold, they needed to take it home, but they didn't want to give it to anyone. So what their plan was to put it on their body, but they didn't know where to put it on their body. So one Tongan, his name was Metui. He was a great king of Tonga. He had one little gold plate, just a little gold one like this square size. He grabbed it and he saw it on his big teeth, and he tried to put it on. He went to the dentist, those old dentists back in the day, and they told him, oh, we can mount your gold. Well, he mounted the gold and he put it on his teeth. What he didn't realize was that his sons and daughters didn't know that he was doing it. They tried to copy him, and as they copy him, it passed on from generation to generation, and now all Tongans that wear gold teeth just want to be like the Americans.
Okay, famously, there are many tall stories heard at the Polyfest, also at the Niuean stage, where there are some unique theories about the origins of Niuean body painting.
Well, long, long ago, the ancient king of Niue badly burnt himself, suffering horrible third-degree burns. And so the Niueans had to paint themselves black to eat the white people.
Usually malala, burnt wood. We used it to like camouflage at night and scare off Palangi people. They used to try to come to our island. That's why we call the Savage Island, New Island. Yeah.
Another major form of Pacific adornment is, of course, your hairstyle, which, like our unique Pacific fashion statements, has changed much over history. Contrary to popular images of the traditional long-haired dusky maiden, in the past, many Polynesian women had short hair. It was often bleached with lime juice and brushed up with breadfruit sap, sort of a prehistoric gel. The men, however, had the long locks, heavily adorned as a symbol of status and mana. It wasn't until the arrival of the white man and missionary codes of male and female roles that our Pacific hair was reshaped to fit the Western model.
Pick your afro.
In Samoa, the significance of hair was heightened further with the tuinga headdress used to adorn the taupou. Coconut sillet was washed in the sea and bleached in the sun to add to the mana of the taupou's status. Today, hair is a big part of Pacific Island cultural beauty standards, from being a rite of passage in Niuean cultures to a sign of brown pride in others.
It's a celebration of a male child, and so the male child's hair is not cut, from day one. But it's also part of the rites of passage. And then, and traditionally and historically, the hair is not cut until the beginning of puberty. And it's a responsibility then, it's placed on the male for a whole range of protecting his womenfolk and also his tribe. And in the ancient times, the hair cutting goes along together with circumcision.
For young people now, having the right look for your locks is a big part of Pacific identity. One of the most elaborate sites for body adornment in the Pacific today is in dance performance. It's a significant part of the highly competitive Te Maeva Nui Festival in the Cook Islands, where groups vie to make the most original creations for the big prize money. These stage presentations rely heavily on costumes for effect, and groups often work from dusk till dawn, creating their masterpieces for the stage, utilising everything that Mother Nature throws their way.
Everything comes from the tree, a coconut tree. There's nothing leave out.
And these materials are dyed, added to and adorned as groups vie to come up with the most original presentations possible. Here, even the humble coconut bra has taken on a new life.
Things like coconut shell bras, that's very modern. That's not old. I know some people think it's old. It's not. That was probably introduced here in the Cook Islands in the 1980s.
I think the bra is becoming something of a bit of a statement now. So people put a lot more work into it instead of just the coconut. And you'll probably find that this year, a lot of the teams probably won't be wearing the coconut bra. They'll be using something very different. A lot of the materials we use, you can use for all the items, but used in a different way. So like, for example, they tend to use the whole leaf. When it comes to the action song, which is what I'm doing it for now, stripped it up and I'm plating it, and we're going to put that onto the costume. Drum dance, action song, a lot of people like to use fresh stuff, but you don't have to. You can use the wild hibiscus, the bark of the wild hibiscus, and make costumes from that. The drum dance is usually just that, the kirio skirts, or the hula skirts, as most people know them.
Hula skirts made out of wild hibiscus, or oak, that's been around a long time. There is evidence to show that that may have come to the Cook Islands from Kiribati, movement through from Kiribati, and then from Cook Islands to French Polynesia, from French Polynesia to Hawaii. And it may have been a more post-contact common use material. I think prior to contact, tapa was more commonly used and leaves rather than the wild hibiscus.
Polynesian beats and butt shaking has been transported in new ways to stages in New Zealand, where clothing and performance has been a focus in the work of the Pacific Sisters. In the early 90s, they staged shows that raised the fashion stakes of urban Pacifica, translating traditional materials into new contexts and styles. One of the issues, promoting a positive Pacific self-image through adornment.
As a size 22 Polynesian people, if you're trying to evaluate yourself as a body image on a size 10, skinny, blonde person, then you're gonna lose. So we had to even start retraining our own people to say, no, big is beautiful, don't worry about it. A lot of our young Polynesian women are standing strong with their body image and taking that power back and not being ashamed of the nudity, which is a really big point for me, because it's to me, I think that we should, throw away some of those concepts of nudity and bring back the beautiful naturalness of it and celebrate it rather than making it a dirty or ugly thing.
Rosanna was also one of the early creators of Style Pacifica, an annual showcase of Pacific clothing and body adornment that references both the contemporary and the historic Pacific.
A lot of it stands on the definition of what Pacifica means. To us, Pacifica, we believe that Pacifica has its roots and its traditions lie in the Pacific, and it lies with the people of the Pacific. So we're getting a lot of different people from different races, different ethnicities, but they're all coming and they're being a part of Pacifica. We're setting the guidelines, they're fitting in, and they're bringing their definitions. So we get a vast array of different interpretations of what Pacifica is.
Round of applause.
One of the most popular segments of the Style Pacifica fashion show belongs to the whawhawhenga community, where many performers are experts in the idea of the theatre of costuming and pageantry. The group Island Divas have performed specifically to showcase adornment pieces made for the Queensland Art Gallery. The group gave voice to different stories about the Pacific, told through dance and illustrated through costuming.
The story that I'm telling is it's about hate, and for me it was about religion and the stronghold that religion has within Pacific Island communities. So my piece is about that, about the ritual of going to church, and it comes from the point of view of a big Pacific woman who is very strong within a Pacific Island community. I think most people would agree that the mother is the strong backbone of any Pacific Island family.
You remember sitting next to Mrs. Thunderbird as the third cue. How enormous she appeared to a girl of 3.
Instead of actually branching out to the traditional form of Tawalunga or the Samoan Siva, I actually wanted to extend my performance to find connection into other forms of royalties or identities out of Samoa. And one of the things I was quite inspired by was particularly with the Edwardian Victorian period, particularly with people like Queen Emma and Queen Salmasina.
The Island Divas performances have aimed at opening up new audiences for contemporary Pacific body adornment, brought to life through storytelling and dance.
This piece, Pele, the fire goddess, even though she's a legend from Hawaii and I'm Samoan, I still feel it's a very strong legend myth to actually, like try and build into a performance piece. And then I've incorporated an opera piece that myself will be playing as Pele, the fire goddess.
I am singing live. I do R&B soul, and I have a little mini collection in there, 3 garments. Raphael and Ramona wearing it, with Felicia as well, yeah. What I like to do when I design is marry different cultures, like Japanese influences and stuff like that with my Samoan culture.
Body adornments are also being seen in gallery spaces in the work of Pacific jewellers, who are extending what was once known only as a craft activity into the world of fine art.
Dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby.
I decided that I wanted to make something to actually hang the jewellery on. And I've used a lot of the black heads, those African heads that I've found at markets, but they kind of don't really mean anything to me personally. So what I decided to do was to actually get together a whole bunch of really beautiful people and get their heads remade, get their heads made. Following the whole kitschness of the show, of the heads, I kind of made jewellery that were more flowery. These are kind of really fun pieces that I've really enjoyed making, just whipping them up.
Nikki Hastings-McFall looks at other ideas in her work.
It's based on Pacific Island forms, so I've used like leis and breastplates, but I've also used very urban materials, so there's a lot of plastic, and I've got glow-in-the-dark flowers and net curtains and things like that.
The worlds of Samoa and suburbia highlight Nikki's background as a Pacific Island West Aucklander.
It's kind of like trying to amalgamate what's stereotypically perceived as Pacific, but also amalgamate that with my urbanness, you know, from living in urban New Zealand.
Kitty bus artist Chris Charteris is also making modern forms of old ideas.
Yeah, kind of art objects which you can hang or just bring out occasionally or place them in a special place. Yeah, no, I've researched through the museums and been out the back to look at all the old collections and get to feel them and see how the like fastenings and bindings and weaving was done. And then it's just kind of coming up with new versions and new materials and just trying to evolve.
And the thoroughly evolved world of clothing couture is the focus of New Zealand Fashion Week. A feature on the catwalks in recent years has been the flavour of things brown, where an increasing number of island styles is being showcased.
It's one of the first Polynesian labels to get in there. So, you know, from that point of view, we're very proud to be, you know, associated with obviously Polynesia. That's us, you know, we're South Pacific, we're Pacific Islanders. So it's nice to have a Pacific Islander label within this whole fashion week, you know. It's just normally Palangi thing, so it's nice to have us in there, you know. With the music mixed in with the fashion, I think, you know, it's a bit different and people haven't seen that before, where they've seen the designer rap and walk out with the, you know, the model. So might have been a bit of, you know, points of difference for them. Actually had to wake them up a little bit, but that was pretty cool. I think that we've reached the level of you know, professionalism that we need to, and we're approaching Las Vegas next year in February. It's like a conference where all the, you know, the labels, Fubu, 555 Soul, all of those guys all go. So we're going to go hit that next year.
We decided to come to New Zealand Fashion Week and launch it here because this is New Zealand Fashion Week, you know. Everybody knows us from the Otara markets and the T-shirt, but this is our progression. That was Puzzy. That was absolutely Puzzy. Very, very proud. I'm very proud Polynesian right now, you know.
How many dudes you know roll like this? How many dudes you know flow like this? Not many. And finish. Check to the mic. Check.
I wanted to go all out this time because I've been in the fashion industry for 10 years, you know, preparing for this, I guess, time, you know, because I really want to go international next year. And so this year I've just spent networking with people overseas, buyers from Moscow and Dubai, and you know, setting up a manufacturing plant in Mumbai. The beading, the skills they have in beading and all the handwork, you know, textiles and stuff. We don't get that here in New Zealand. We do, but in such small quantities, and it's so expensive because of that, you know, whereas in Mumbai, every man and their dog does it. Even though my stuff is see-through, that doesn't mean it's tacky. You know, it's nothing to do with certain parts of the bodies. You know, it's got nothing to do with that. It's about sexuality. It's about a woman having that much confidence to express herself. This is for my people, my party people.
And art taken out of the gallery and onto the catwalk in the Doris DuPont show, whose collection heralded the images of Niuean artist John Pule in this fashion collaboration.
It was a really simple process. She just came around and she wanted to use some of my images on her next range of collection, and so we just sat around the table and looked at a few litho prints. At first I was a bit frightened about seeing my images mass-produced, but after seeing the show tonight, I think that they were used quite respectfully and quite beautifully, and it was pretty funky, and you know, I loved it. I think it was very good for me.
You can't look at contemporary statements in Pacific clothing without going past the impact that T-shirt slogans have had on creating a whole new fashion vocabulary.
Our business is Fat Islander T-shirts, and the way we come up with designers, we just actually look around at what the market needs for T-shirts.
My favourite one is the Island Diva T-shirt, only because we didn't want to go for the stereotypical Island Diva. We wanted to go for the mum look. And
so you decided to put your mum on the T-shirt, that
yeah, that too.
Our label is Popo Hardware. We like to take the positive out of the negative stereotypes given to our people.
This is a new one too. It's about 2 weeks old. It's our top seller at the moment, and we've sold out both at Pacifica and Otara.
T-shirt calls become a thriving industry in many South Auckland backyard businesses. These popular slogans, aimed specifically at a Polynesian market, have become the bread and butter for many young South Auckland designers, with growing competition at places like the Otara markets.
Since we're all Samoans that were born and raised here in New Zealand, we try to find things that like we can relate to. Like some of the Samoan T-shirts were around originally were, a lot of them were in Samoan. Since most of us don't speak Samoan or don't speak it very well, we try to look at things around us like we, you know, we can associate with the Milo logo. A lot of us play ball, so we can see the little man from the NBA logo. Samoans, we've got a real sort of self-deprecating humour, so we like to laugh at ourselves. So we chuck in things that we find funny, you know.
Well, my brand is Nectar, and it basically means representing the true juices and flavours of Polynesia. And these T-shirts have a Polynesian-themed basis and a bit of humour added to it. So with this shirt, it's also in Samoa means brother. So I broke it down to they're saying "you so crazy," and this is my logo here. It's a jandal, but it's also the letter N for nectar. So yeah, that's my logo here.
Some of them would take the mickey out of like old Polynesian slang, like the bungas word, which was used in adornment back in the 70s there. People used to call us bungas as islanders. We just take the mickey out of it, make it into a T-shirt. It becomes quite popular.
For Day Hummel Clothing, it's also about pride in the South Side.
TVSN Shopping Network. This is going for $19.99. This is our multi-athletic design. Yeah, that's right. Then we have the Day Hummel Athletics there, which comes in different colors. We have, okay, fold that, be busy. We have the Otara Players. because that's where all the players come from. They breed them here, then send them all over Auckland. And the market that we sell to, as you know, that music now, especially hip-hop music is now, the pop culture is, fashion, music, films, TV. So what we aim to do is we aim to flood the market with Polynesian, Samoan music, merchandise, films, TV things, and the more people see our faces, the more they see themselves, which is good in the end. Which, thank you.
And thank you too. But with all the different designers, the big question is, what's the competition like?
Competition?
It hasn't hampered our selling numbers at all. Probably more people come in now because they know that this is the place to get these sort of shirts from.
Some of our own bros from the same road, are down the road, just making almost the same gear as us. I mean, why don't be inventive or something, come out with something else.
Yeah, it's
all we see is we just turn up in the morning, it's our t-shirt, we just look around, whatever. What they make is what they make, what we make is what we make.
We all serve different niches. Exactly.
The beauty of it is choices. People get, that much choice.
They have that much choice to choose from. And I would like to say this, I'd rather they buy from us, them, than to support money that'll go elsewhere to overseas clothing companies. Even though my shoes are from Japan, but hey, we don't make shoes. If I did,
we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it.
And also working on her special brand of island iconography is artist Shigeyuki Kihara, who even had one collection bought by the National Gallery Te Papa.
The collection of t-shirts uses a lot of Polynesian humor. Now, the blacks have their own humor, the white people have their own humor, now the brown people have their own humor too, and we all know that. And we've seen brown humor before with people like the Naked Samoans and the Semisi family, and the images behind me are icons to us, and so as KFC, so as Polynesian airline logos, Hawaiian airline logos, and coconut cream cans and macro cans, and everything else. And there's a lot of use of icons, and there's also a lot of use of reappropriating products, such as products like Barbie. What happens is that I actually reappropriated Barbie to become Fobby. So what happens is that Fobby became the brown version of Barbie.
I like this one. I want to own this one because, as young islanders growing up, we always get jobs to do. And one of them, the one that I hated the most, was the washing, which is why I made my sister do it all the time. And, fob total fob.
I also got a Polynesian hip-hop t-shirt, which was actually for me, but I can't fit it. But it looks good on my hanger in my wardrobe. And, it's got your typical dusky maiden. And that's why I got it. I just thought, yeah, I'll wear that t-shirt. Because, that's how people perceive. I was perceived as that for a very long time. So, I'm definitely down with it. And to a certain extent, yeah, it is our sense of humour. And if people don't understand it, then just don't look at it. You know what I mean?
For order for you to really understand what the t-shirts are about, you have to go and say hi to a Polynesian for order for you to understand it. It's like, that's downright, it's like if you want to know it, you have to get down with the brown.
I love the diamond life down to a jewelry box. Now you know how. Champagne floors from a crystal high heels, trail of hibiscus petals wherever she walks.
Fueled by the cutting edge of Pacific youth culture, the catch cry of loud, brown and proud is a driving force in most forms of New Zealand's popular culture. Young Pacifica people are now changing and challenging the face of mainstream fashion and setting the style stakes in an immigrant identity now considered cool. Adorning our bodies as contemporary Polynesians today remains as much a significant marker of social change as it has been in our history.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.